Good afternoon. Thanks for coming to our session. My name is Randall Dennis, and I'm Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer for CoreBanc. We're a data solutions company based in Nashville, Tennessee. And today we are going to be looking at, in this afternoon session, cloud computing and how you can leverage the burgeoning cloud computing market to your advantage and grab a piece of the sky. So let's hop right in right away. And let's talk about the market first. Cloud computing market. Gartner Research estimates that in 2008 was just over $46 billion. In just 1 year's time, it grew by over 21%. And it is estimated now by Gartner to reach $150 billion by 2013. So, what I'm here to tell you, and you need to tell your prospects, is that cloud computing is not a fad. It is not a mere trend. It is the future of computing, just as surely as the computing world was affected by personal computers and laptops and the internet. Cloud computing is the future. So they need to be prepared for that. They are going in the cloud one way or another. The only other thing I can say about it right now is that it can be more confusing than filing your own taxes if you do not understand the business model, how it's deployed, etc. So that's what I'm here to do, is to break you through this in the next few minutes. We're going to clear up the cloudiness of cloud computing. I'm going to explain the business benefits for clients in cloud computing, at least the way CoreBanc offers it. And I will offer you an opportunity to grab your piece of the sky, that coming $150 billion. So let's move forward and take a quick look at the types of cloud deployments. You've probably heard a lot about cloud computing. It's all over the news, it's all over articles. Prospects have probably heard confusing things about the cloud. It's so confusing because cloud computing is actually a kind of misnomer. There are about 8 to 10 different types of cloud. So what a prospect or you may have heard about cloud computing may or may not be anything like the complete cloud deployment that CoreBanc offers. So let's make sure you're comparing apples to apples. First of all, let's ask you, or you can ask a prospect, how many of you have ever used cloud computing, or are you using cloud computing? Are you using Salesforce.com? Anybody here use Gmail? Congratulations, you're already using cloud computing. So, secondly, not all types of cloud are the same. Like I said, I can count up to maybe 10 types, and I'm just a business guy. I'm not a geek. So, as Scotty from Star Trek says there, you got to use the right tool for the right job, huh? Here are some major types of clouds or tools. We'll break through some of the most common types. Number one, easily, SaaS, software as a service. Examples, Salesforce.com, Google Apps, Zoho Office. There's online versions of QuickBooks, those sorts of things. The advantages are clear that they bring to the table no upfront CapEx layout for software. They are secure, they're highly scalable, they're mobile. Those are all the typical cloud computing advantages. The weaknesses? SaaS usually focuses on very limited functions, such as sales, CRM, enterprise resource planning, human resources, etc. They're very focused. So as great as they are, SaaS solutions only really eliminate application-dedicated hardware and software support. So the bottom line is they're excellent. They're economical, but they have a limited function. The next category is infrastructure as a service. This was originally called hardware as a service, so you may have heard of it as that. It's sometimes called utility computing. So utility computing, hardware as a service, infrastructure as a service, which is more common, all three are the same things. Infrastructure as a service is virtual server storage on demand. Examples, Amazon.com's Elastic Cloud, I believe they're calling the current iteration EC2, right? Infrastructure as a service is simply server space, typically offered at dirt cheap prices with no tech support, but for frequently asked questions on the internet. So this is more or less the Walmart big box solution for storage, right? The advantages, they are highly available and reliable for supplemental and non-mission critical computing at a very low cost, so they're very economical. The downsides, they're storage and storage related only. They're typically very low service support depending on the provider, so they're assuming that the end client has a good amount of computer expertise or a team in place that really know what they're doing. The bottom line becomes infrastructure as a service is for technically proficient companies who only need virtualized data center. Clients need to be careful in picking the right provider then if they need a lot of support. So they must be certain the level of support they need is written into their SLA. Third category, platform as a service. Past providers allow you to develop and distribute software applications in the cloud. Typically, a larger company who's really into developing software will do this. They deliver those apps to your company or clients via the internet from their past servers. So examples of that are the Google App Engine, Force.com, and Coghead. The advantages is this is ideal for BYOA, bring your own apps. So if you have a client or prospect that is in that zone, which isn't really too often, but if they're in the BYOA space, it's the best thing for them. Limitations, again, a very specific purpose and functionality. The bottom line is that it's usually not particularly useful for most small, medium-sized enterprises. There are several other categories that are less common, so I'm not going to address those. But let's move on to computing as a service, and what I like to refer to in the case of CoreBanc as complete computing as a service. Complete computing as a service replaces everything for the businesses in computing except for the end user appliances. The laptop, the computer, the dumb terminal that they may be accessing the cloud through. So the greatest example I can think of right here is what we're going to talk about is CoreBanc's CompleteCloud. We'll look into those advantages in just a minute, but let's talk about the few limitations that cloud has. And they're not really primarily technical limitations. We do scale CompleteCloud below 5 users, but that is not an ideal cost efficiency because a company with only 5 users is not likely to be challenged to invest a lot of money in servers, storage, extra licenses, uninterruptible power supply, all of that stuff that goes along with a tech closet or a data room. So it's just not the best solution economically. CompleteCloud can comfortably scale all the way up to 500 users, but it can become a little unwieldy for enterprise situations above 500. So let's look further into the CompleteCloud experience so you know what it is, and you will begin to see the strategic advantages of cloud for small, medium-sized enterprises right away.